Today we're going to give you an introduction to the Thermo King TriPac Evolution APU unit. Right here, opening up the door, access panel, you're going to see the dipstick. When you pull that out, the fill line is not always going to show all the way full. There's many times that straight out of the factory that they will only come within a 1/4 inch from that full mark. From there you will see the fill tube. This uses the same oil as your truck, so the oil that you get from the shop can go into this unit. This has a 2,000 hour service cycle. From there you will see a maintenance switch. That switch is for the technicians to be able to shut your unit off without climbing through the sleeper. They will be able to just walk around and hit that switch, shut off the unit. One thing you will know is that when that switch is turned off, the display in the sleeper can still light up. The unit just will not start. Moving forward to the front of the truck, you will see 2 lines, coolant lines leading up to the engine. These 2 lines can be shut off in an event that there's a coolant loss, so the engine maintains its coolant. And this is also an area to always look for if you are using coolant, to see if there's a leak around this area. Moving forward into the cab, one thing you will see is that the APU will not run when the key is on. When in this, it does deactivate the APU. The APU will only run in off or to the accessory, where you will still be able to use your radio. Moving into the sleeper, here's your controller. Underneath of it, what you can't see is there is a little black sensor that is your ambient air sensor. That's what's telling this unit from 60 degrees to 90 degrees of what temperature it is inside your sleeper. To turn the unit on, you push and hold for 1 second. The display will light up. You will have a standby mode. And in standby mode, it is monitoring your battery and monitoring your coolant temp. To initiate the AC mode or any other mode, just tap the button. Once you see the light flashing, you're going to see the temperature, you're going to see the fan control off. That will initiate the AC in this mode. And where you will start to get AC out of is all of the vents are fed. You will always have air come from this vent right here, and all of them come from this box. The back side of this box has a blue filter, which you need to keep free of any kind of bags or any other items. This also ties into your truck vents, so you will have AC coming from these vents. This is a Peterbilt, but the Volvos and the Freightliners are the same thing. Upon startup, you will usually hear the TriPac unit beep a couple times, and then all the settings will start flashing and then stay solid, and that's when you'll start seeing air come out. You can adjust the fan speed up in 3 increments. To do heat mode, you would initiate As you see, it flashes, it will switch modes. Once it stops flashing in heat, it'll stay solid. You'll turn it all the way up to the temperature desired. When the heat setting is on, you never want to shut off the APU directly. It will actually, the bunk heater needs to go through its cycles. So don't just turn it on to turn it right back off on the heat cycle. Let it go through its processes. You will hear the APU spit, sputter, and start it up. And that is a normal function for the APU. Once you get that started, the setting, you will see that you will have a heat duct in underneath your bed. That piece right there is the only place that you actually will receive heat out of. It will not come out of any of these vents located in the sleeper. When you turn on this fan mode and you are actually setting this fan, it will pump air through those vents, but it will not be heated air. The only heat that you will receive comes out of this vent. The air coming out of the other vents is a recirculate air that will come out of the vent over here that actually comes out of this box, which is the APU's AC condenser box. So that box is just going to pull cold air from underneath your bunk and circulate it into your cabin. So you will not see a lot of heat. What many drivers do is that after the bunk heater kicks on and is fully heated up and it starts getting very warm, they will actually start using this to circulate the heat and gain a lot of benefit of having the airflow mixed around the sleeper. One thing to note is your APU actually controls your bunk heater, which is located on the driver's side underneath your bed. This unit right here has an intake. Nothing in this area should be blocking that intake. That will restrict how much airflow comes to the unit and allows for how much heat. It will either shut down or give you very little heat. The only place that you have heat that will come out is right here. Turning this controller to fan mode will only turn on these vents, but it will be pulling cooler air from underneath your sleeper and pumping it into the actual living space of your sleeper, which you will noticeably see a drop in temperature until the bunk heater catches up. Many drivers find that after they've been having the bunk heater run for a while, that the bunk heater actually gets very warm, and that they will use this fan setting to circulate the air. Overall gives an even temperature throughout the sleeper. Remember, there is always curtains to close up. Moving on to your power. Depending on the truck, depends on where your outlets are laid. This one being a double bunk, there's outlets right here. If it was a single bunk, you would see actual outlets above the ledge, a little cabinet over there. This unit will have them over by the TV stand. They will change in different areas. The power inverter is an 1800 watt power inverter on the back wall. One of the items that you will see is many times that the display will be flashing an EO5 or an EO3 code. If you somehow have tripped out the voltage on it, one of the ways that you can reset The power inverter is with this little black button on top. It is sometimes also located on the rear, depending on the power inverter. With this display not being lit up, you will not have power to the inside outlets. Holding that button for a couple seconds will shut off the power inverter, shutting off all the power to your outlets. Turn it back on, say whether something rolled around and bumped into it, and shut it off. There is also a GFCI on the side of your power inverter where the outlets actually plug into. There's many times that the outlets can be reset by just pushing the reset on that outlet, whether it may not have actually triggered the inverter but just tripped out the outlet. Remember, many of your devices in your sleeper require a lot of power. Microwaves, for instance, have 700 cooking wattage. Now that's not their power consumption, and you may see some that actually triple that power consumption, which would far exceed what this power inverter is capable of. So when your best chances of having a microwave work is to buy a small enough microwave, make sure the APU is running full power where you're getting that 14 some volts, and then operate just the microwave at that time, not operating any other devices, TV, whatnot, which will cause an additional drawdown. The biggest thing is with both these devices is to try to keep these areas clear. You do not want to block that intake. That will trigger this out. This is its own unit. It is controlled by the TriPac controller up there, but it does have its own computer. It does its own thinking. All that TriPac controller is doing is telling it the temperature and to turn on. This is its own unit. This is not a part of the APU. The APU does not supply any heat. This APU only supplies air conditioning, monitors your coolant temperature on those cold days. It's trying to bring up your temp on the engine, and it's going to monitor your batteries. The APU is set to come on at 12.4 volts to keep the power up. That's usually right around the area where your LVD is. The LVD on the truck, the low power disconnect, is actually at 12.2. So any kind of additional draw, if you have microwave running or something else, you might see it shut off when the APU goes to fire up, because there is a close gap between where the LVD is set at and where the APUs are set at. Running down the road, the truck sleeper heater controls still do work. They still give you heat, they still give you AC, and to pre-cool or preheat this cabin area is going to greatly help the APU. When you go to zip up for the night, you're actually going to have a quicker response from your APU on being able to heat this area or cool this area if it's already been preheated and cooled. So these controls obviously don't work when you're parked, but getting there, you'll have running them, you're going to have a heated sleeper. It's going to be warm. To turn off this APU, to push and hold the power button for 3 seconds will shut off that unit. The exhaust for your bunk heater will come out of here. You will also have your exhaust from your APU coming out behind it. Many times if you have your sleeper windows open with the right kind of air, you will possibly get a smell that will come into your cabin, depending on how much the wind isn't blowing anything away, or if you have many units parked beside it. Keeping these things in mind when you're operating your APU. will greatly help you.